Today, Iowa's new restrictive abortion law is in effect. It bans abortions after fetal cardiac activity is detected. That is usually around 6 weeks of pregnancy. The law has some exceptions, including reported cases of rape, incest, and if the pregnancy becomes life-threatening to the mother. It will be a key issue as we head into the 2024 general election. Lawmakers on both sides have promised action. KCCI's chief political reporter Amanda Rooker is live at the State House. Amanda.
Well, Stacey, for years, Republicans have campaigned on turning this law into a reality. Well, now that it is in effect, Democrats are already making abortion access a central campaign issue with just over 3 months until the November election.
Our candidates and our volunteers have already knocked on the door of 42,000 persuadable voters.
Iowa Senate Minority Leader Pam Yoakum says state Democrats are hitting the campaign trail and talking to voters about the state's new abortion ban. In Iowa, most abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy are now illegal.
Abortion is one of the top issues that the voters are bringing up at the doors, and they are angry that for the first time in their lives, a right has actually been taken away.
National Democrats are also responding, like Vice President Kamala Harris, who released this video.
So today, Iowa put in place a Trump abortion ban,
blaming former President Donald Trump for appointing Supreme Court justices who overturned federal abortion rights.
So what we need to do is vote, because I'm going to tell you something. When I am President of the United States, I will sign into law the protections for reproductive freedom.
A Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll from last year found that over 60% of Iowa adults believed abortion should be legal in most or all cases. But Iowa Republicans are defending the law, like Representative Shannon Lundgren, who spoke with KCCI last month.
Once that baby is formed and definitely has a beating heart, it's life. And so we've got to do what we can to protect such a vulnerable human being that can't fight for themselves whatsoever.
A spokesperson for Iowa House Republicans sent KCCI a statement saying the law, quote, represents a common sense standard with exceptions that prove you can value the life of both the mother and the baby. Quote, since first passing the heartbeat bill in 2018, Iowans have grown Republican majorities in the legislature election after election, end quote. Iowa Democrats say voters feel differently now that the abortion law has taken effect.
I think that the fact they didn't vote this way in 22 or 20 was because they were voting on a theoretical threat then. And this year they're going to see that it's real and it's dangerous and it's devastating.
Now, some socially conservative groups in the state are already calling on Iowa lawmakers to pass a more restrictive abortion law next legislative session, banning abortion after the moment of conception. Neither the Iowa House or Senate have confirmed if they're interested in action on that next legislative session, only saying that they want to continue to promote a, quote, culture of life. Live from the Iowa State House, Amanda Rooker, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
And it's been a long road for this law to take effect. The Iowa legislature first passed this law in 2018. It was blocked in a lawsuit in 2019. The legislature revived the lawsuit last year after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. A judge granted an injunction that blocked the law from being enforced until the legal challenges could play out in court. The law remained blocked until last month when the Iowa Supreme Court ruled there is no fundamental right to an abortion in the state of Iowa. And last Monday, a district judge ruled the law would go into effect today. Abortion access advocates say the new law will force Iowans seeking abortion to go across state lines. The Chicago Abortion Fund says since the 2022 Dobbs decision, 465 Iowans have asked for assistance. In the last 3 weeks alone, the nonprofit received 60 requests from Iowans. Last week, Minnesota's lieutenant governor said Iowans seeking abortions are welcome in that state. Data from the Minnesota Health Department shows abortions in Minnesota went up 20% from 2021 to 2022. This is a map with a view of the status of abortion access across the country. The states in red are where abortions are currently banned or have near total bans. In the orange states, abortion is legal with a gestational limit of 6 to 18 weeks. And you can see abortions are legal in a few neighboring states marked in black on this map. You can learn more about Iowa's new abortion law. We have in-depth coverage on our KCCI mobile app.